A survey carried out has found that 1 in 10 people have become ill while swimming in UK rivers. I'm going to have a look at this a bit more in an exclusive for My News, guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, guys, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here with an exclusive for My News. And that citizen science survey has found that 1 in 10 people have become ill after swimming in UK rivers. The survey will help researchers determine how much of a risk sewage and other river pollutions actually pose to humans, about which little is yet known. So guys, obviously we know that lots of raw sewage has been pumped into our oceans and our rivers as a result of the deregulation of the water companies being allowed to get away with this with no real action really being taken. And obviously that has led to some people who obviously don't pay attention to news and politics, because not everybody knows about it, going into waters and rivers and then finding themselves in these situations, and it's a horrible thing to think of whatsoever for them. So but 1 in 10 are becoming ill from it. Let's read more into it, shall we? So more than 1 in 10 people have fallen ill directly as a result of the exposure to polluted river waters, according to the participants of a new citizen science project. This found that 11.4% of participants believe they had become ill after coming into contact with sewage, agricultural runoff, heavy metals from disused mines, and chemicals leading from plastics in rivers, canals, streams, lakes and ponds. Although it cannot be proved indefinitely that it was caused by any of the illness. Yeah, I think that you can't say it's because of one specific factor, so that obviously it makes fair sense. Even so, the figures provide valuable evidence that the potential health risks posed by polluting waters to humans, which are disputed and about which little research has been done. These findings offer far more concerning evidence about the detrimental state of the UK's waterways, said Lizzie Carr, the founder of Planet Patrol, the river clean-up and data collection charity which ran the Citizen Science Project. Thomas Sultan and Loughborough University, who analysed the results of the project, involving 367 citizen science, said the surveyors showed that the state of the waterway survey is not as it should be, with most showing that some signs of visible pollution. This needs to change. The survey indicates that people are getting ill from the waterways, which can no longer be safely used for their full potential. And it shows that that only surefire way water users can stop themselves being put at risk, and is not by using the waterways. Yeah, so basically, in order to stop yourself being ill, they're basically saying stop going in the waters. And people want to go in the waters. It's not right that people should not be told you can't go in the water because it's unhealthy. The point is that it shouldn't even be in the state. That's the point, yeah, isn't it? This is not acceptable given the benefits this brings to individuals. A lack of monitoring and enforcement is key to this, and means that individuals are not able to assess their level of risk, Dr. Stanton said. River pollution, and sewage in particular, is a huge area of concern among the UK public. We've talked about it before, guys, obviously the amount of raw sewage being pumped into our rivers and seas. The latest water company data shows that 375,000 sewage spills into rivers, canals, coastal areas and other waterways in England and Wales in 2022, lasting a total of 2.3 million hours, according to analysis at the top of the poops. It's still unclear exactly how much of a health risk this poses. Well, I would say a pretty huge risk, that's for sure. The charity Surfers Against Sewage, which is fighting the problem in rivers as well as coastal areas, received 720 sickness reports in the year to October 2022. Although it is unclear how many people engaging in water activities of those in the same areas were not affected. Meanwhile, Outdoor Swimming Society, that's the OSS, believes the threats of river pollution to human health has been greatly exaggerated. It said that its members have logged 1.85 million swims between them all around the world, with only 207 instances of sickness that have attributed to water quality, which is just one instance of sickness every 9,094 swims. Okay, but right, around the world, yeah, but okay, around the world, that's fine. But what about the UK? Like, can you tell us how's that different from the UK? Like, I'm like not being funny. Like, like the OSS are saying, obviously, about around the world, but we're looking at UK specific right now, aren't we? So kind of curious to see what your numbers are with the UK, if I'm honest. The Planet Patrol project, known as the Spring Water Watch, provides further evidence for the debate, although it's unlikely to settle the dispute, the organisers concede. Professor Steve Omarode of Cardiff University, who was not involved in the research, said, "These are really interesting data demonstrating how concerned they are about the state of the rivers. The result, Chimes is widely reported concerned about the sewage-related waste. A growing army of people are now involved with citizen science around rivers, and this is another good example of the value of that result," he said. Craig Bennett, Chief Executive of the Wildlife Trust, which is not involved in the survey, said, "This study highlights that water quality is not just an issue about the natural environment, but it's also about the issue about our health, and failure of the government's property to act on it means people are falling ill as a result." In the studies of other main findings, almost 3/4 of citizen science involved in recording evidence of pollution. Of those, a third identified evidence of litter or fly tipping, and a third identified a foam on the water surface. Nearly 40% of recorded of range of other pollutions include algae cover the water surface and oily sheen on the water and sewage related litter. So just on the like one thing that we in the UK are very helpful of is littering. We don't do enough to encourage our children and our adults to put rubbish in the bin. We need to encourage it more, and we need to have basically more bins visible, and we need to encourage people to stop fly tipping. We need to encourage that. We need to encourage that not just for adults, but from a younger age, so that less rubbish is put away. Because I've been for someone who's I've travelled to a few different countries, and that people are mature, when it comes to rubbish, and for some, I just think, when I look in comparison to here in the UK, kids these days just don't care. They just chuck it on the floor, and it's a very simple, it's something that's so simple that we should be teaching and passing down and saying, no, you got to put it in the bin. And if there's not a bin, then why do we not have enough bins? This is our country, and we should be looking after it. And I don't understand why people think it's okay to just simply drop your rubbish on the floor, river, wherever it is you dump it. Ran over. The citizen science found that fish are finding it hard to function in our rivers. Over 2/3 recorded barriers to fish, with over a quarter recording fallen trees as blocking the waterways, closely followed by weir 23.9%. This is significant because fish such as eels, salmon and sturgeons are important migration species that thousands of kilometres a year that migrate thousands of kilometres each year to reproduce and find food. The high number of barriers make it difficult for them to complete their journeys. Well, if you're polluting the rivers and waters and that, you're just going to make it harder for them, which just doesn't help either. This observation does clearly highlight the threat to aquatic ecosystems are more than just pollution that cannot be seen, says Dr. Santon. Yep, 100% agree with that. A Water UK spokesperson said, "We recognise that more should have been done sooner to tackle the harm caused by sewage overflows. We have unprecedented plan to start to put it right. Over the next 7 years, water and sewage companies plan to spend 10 billion of the biggest transformation in our sewage since the Victorian era." I've heard this nonsense before about 10 billion to transform it and all this kind of stuff, and nothing happens of it. I've heard this rhetoric before. Nonsense. I've heard this rhetoric before. A government spokesperson says, "We continue to work alongside the Environment Agency's tough enough enforcement against underperforming and polluting water companies. This includes securing record fines of over £147 million, launching a criminal investigation into potential non-compliance at water waste treatment works, and driving up monitoring to ensure the public can see what is going on. We have also set a strictest targets on water companies to reduce sewage discharge through our storm overflow discharge reduction plan." This is frustrating. It doesn't compare to how much they've been getting away with it, guys. It's just ridiculous. Still so frustrating. We everybody, not just governments and that, everybody has a role to play. But the government is in charge, and it has, and they're saying that they've like these record fines don't mean nothing compared to the dividends that and the profits that these water companies are making. Water and sewage companies are making. It just doesn't make a difference whatsoever, guys. It really does not. I don't have much faith whatsoever in this current government. I would like to think that I have some faith in the next Labour government, if should they get into power, and hopefully that they will ensure that our waterways get cleaned up as quickly as possible. But as I've said, we need to encourage it from the each generation needs to encourage children to do more, to do their part as well. Making sure that we put simple things like just putting rubbish in the bin, making sure that we are, clearing, putting things in the right places, all that kind of jazz, guys. It really is very simple stuff. But obviously, going back to the headline of 1 in 10 people are becoming ill in UK swimming rivers, that will increase over time the more that we don't do enough to protect our waters. That is for sure. But what do you guys think? Are you surprised by the statistics? Are you surprised by some of the numbers? Let me know down in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much as always, guys, and I will catch you all very, very soon.